snow leopards at the Los Angeles Zoo. This week the animal was reclassified as vulnerable, not endangered. Mike Nelson, European Press Photo Agency. The snow leopard is no longer an endangered species, but its population in the wild is still at risk because of poaching and habitat loss, conservationists said this week. The International Union for Conservation of Nature said on Thursday that new data taken through 2016 prompted the reclassification of the snow leopard from the endangered list to the vulnerable category. The difference means, simply, that the animals have gone from very high risk to high risk of extinction in the wild. The team's lowest estimate was that about 4,000 live in the wild. But the snow leopard could still face a population decline of 10% or more over the next 3 generations in its habitats, which are mostly mountainous areas of Central Asia, including Kyrgyzstan and Pakistan. It still faces a high risk of extinction, the conservation group said, from habitat loss and degradation, declines in prey populations and poaching for illegal wildlife trade, among other reasons. It is essential to continue and expand conservation efforts to reverse its declining trend and prevent this iconic cat from moving even closer to extinction, the group said. Conservationists warned that the risks are not over for the snow leopards, whose distinctive appearances make them attractive to poachers. The tails are longer than most cats to help them balance on steep slopes. The skins are thick and whitish, patterned with dark rosettes and spots. The bones and other body parts are used in traditional Asian medicine. Emerging potential threats include mining and other infrastructure development that would affect the habitats. The IUCN Red List of Threatened Species is the world's most comprehensive inventory of plant and animal species. In its full report on the snow leopard, it noted the population numbers could be partly speculative, given the difficulties in collecting hard data on the elusive and secretive species across all regions. Snow leopards range across 12 countries in Central Asia in remote and rugged terrain. Their elusive qualities have inspired travelogues and surveys over the years as naturalists tried to track down the animals in the wild. Hundreds were placed in zoos around the world, including a few in New York City. After the conservation group's report was issued, the Snow Leopard Trust said the vulnerable classification still meant there was a high risk of extinction. It took issue with the lack of reliable techniques such as camera traps or genetic analysis, saying the assessment relied in part on asking people how many snow leopards they think exist in any area. The trust said, "We are most concerned about how the lower status may weaken conservation efforts in range countries and the ability of local governments to stop these threats," it said. Peter Zaller, coordinator of the Wildlife Conservation Society's Snow Leopard program and a member of the assessment team, said the team followed strict and rigorous scientific protocols. The assessment used the lowest acceptable population figure 4,000 in its calculations, and still came up with vulnerable status from the snow leopard, he said in an emailed statement. Tom McCarthy, an executive director of Panthera, a conservation group that focuses on the world's wildcats, said that to be considered endangered there must be fewer than 2,500 mature snow leopards, with a high rate of decline. Dr. McCarthy, who was on the IUCN assessment team, said in a statement that the reclassification did not mean that snow leopards are safer, that now is a time to celebrate. The species still faces a high risk of extinction in the wild and is likely still declining, just not at the rate previously thought.